Hello, I was just wanting to share this little bit of information which you may or may not be interested in. And I'm titling it about time travel and teleportation. Interesting stuff. And I believe this is not just for science fiction. I believe that there's a great possibility in these things happening. Because in the Gospel of Mark 9:23 it says, all things are possible to him that believeth. Okay? All things there. It's not just some things, all things. So let me just jump into teleportation. In the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 21, it says, immediately the ship was at the land where they went. And so Jesus was out on the water, and then he gets in the ship, and right away, immediately, that ship was on the other side where they were going. And so that's something to notice there, immediately. And then in Acts chapter 8, verses 38 through 40, it's describing Philip, who the Holy Spirit led to go and meet up with the eunuch from Ethiopia. And the eunuch was reading in the gospel, not in the gospel, sorry, in the prophet Isaiah. And he was saying, how can I understand what this is about unless someone shows me? So Philip shows him, it's talking about Jesus. And then the eunuch and Philip get out of the ship, out of the what is it, like a carriage, whatever they're riding in, the cart, and he gets baptized. So as soon as the eunuch and Philip are done baptizing the eunuch in the water, it says the Spirit of the Lord caught away Philip, and he was seen in another town. He was, the eunuch didn't see him anymore. It was like immediately he was taken to another town. The word caught away there is the same Greek word described in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, where Paul was describing someone that he had known about 15 years before he wrote that, who was caught up into the third heaven, taken up into the third heaven. And it's the same word in the Greek, this caught up, described in 1 Thessalonians 4:17, which describes the rapture, which is when people get plucked up out of the earth, taken up into the air where the Lord is returning. And so it's important to understand what the meanings of words are in order to really get a picture of what the Bible is telling us. And the scriptures tell us things that are not what we're used to seeing and we're experiencing, we're expecting, but nothing is impossible to them that believe. And when it comes to time, it's commonly believed among many believers that God is outside of the realm of time, because God is light. And people might say things like, trying to act smart or trying to confuse somebody, saying, can God create a rock that's so big that he can't move? That's just foolishness, spoken in jest, whatever. And you could, along those same lines, you might say, can, God is light, can he go faster than himself? Because, that's just foolishness thought around the realms of human intellectual reasoning. God is outside of the realm of time, and nothing is impossible with God. In 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8, it says, one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. That's not some mathematical equation to be used for prophecies and things like that, trying to understand. That's a figure of speech telling us that God is outside the realm of time. and eternity is forever. And so I hope you all get your eternity right, because you can't come back. The scriptures show us and tell us clearly that reincarnation is not real. Past lives are a deception from deceiving spirits who have been in this world for thousands of years, and they'll try to get people to believe that reincarnation is real, past lives are real, that all these things, deja vu can make you feel like you've lived something 1,000 years. Those are all spiritual deceptions. We need to learn there's spiritual truth and there's spiritual deceptions. And when it comes to abilities of God, there's nothing impossible with God. But there's some things that God has put in restriction. We need to learn the differences. And it helps us not to be deceived. You know what I'm saying here about time travel and teleportation? It's not really that relevant to our daily lives. It's just something that I'm throwing out there to open up your mind in the spirit to realize the potential of God, that nothing is impossible with God, and nothing is impossible for you who believe, which means you who are committed and dedicated to trust and rely. That's what believing means. It's not a mental assent or so-so, half-hearted, I think it could be. It's something that happens in your spirit when you humble yourself before God. And that's the stuff that really matters in our life. So I'll just leave it at that. You have a nice day.